This is The Bad Listener with Danny Stroh.
Hello, everyone. Today we're going to do chapter 2 of Isaiah. Chapter 2 focuses on the discipline and glory of Judah and Jerusalem and the future blessings. So basically what it's going to get into is at the end of history, the entire human race will acknowledge that God is supreme. So we will give up our sins and other distractions that draw our attention from God, and we will seek out and live according to God's will. We'll restore our present lives and share in God's eternal kingdom. Chapter 2, the Lord's future reign. This is a vision that Isaiah, son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house will be the highest of all, the most important place on earth. It will be raised above the other hills, and people from all over the world will stream there to worship. So God made a covenant with his people, and he will never break it. God's faithfulness gives us hope for the future. The temple was built on the mountain of the Lord, Mount Moriah, highly visible to all of Jerusalem. And in the last days, the temple will attack the nations because of God's presence and influence. People from many nations will come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of Jacob's God. There he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the Lord's teaching will go out from Zion, his word will go out from Jerusalem." So the coming day when God's people would worship him rightly with pure hearts is basically what's being described here. Many people will look to God for wisdom. War will cease because God's peace will reign the world. The people failed to heed God's warnings. So God judged them with the sword of invading foreign armies. The coming of Jesus brings a sword that purifies a people for himself and exposes more religious observance that is not driven from a heart in love with God. So a spear found the side of Jesus himself, though he knew no sin, became sin for his people so they would not have to experience the wrath of God that their sin deserved. Verse 4, the Lord will mediate between nations and will settle international disputes. They will hammer their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will no longer fight against nation, nor train for war anymore. A warning of judgment. Come, descendants of Jacob, let us walk in the light of the Lord. So it's the wonderful future of peace, right? Instruments of war converted into instruments of farming. We will be taught God's laws and obey them. We know that God will remove all sin, and we should not wait for him to act before we obey him. Light refers to God's revelation of himself, which came to us in Jesus and allows us to see what is true and right. So we should walk in his light right now. Verse 6. For the Lord has rejected his people, the descendants of Jacob, because they have filled their land with practices from the east and with sorcerers as the Philistines do. They have made alliances with pagans. Israel is full of silver and gold. There is no end to its treasures. Their land is full of war horses. There is no end to its chariots. So when God sets up his kingdom, non-believers will be humbled and hide in fear. By putting our trust in God, we will have no reason to be ashamed or afraid when he fully reveals his awesome power. So basically, don't put trust in anything else, money or power. These people were following pagan practices from the Assyrian Empire. They sought knowledge and control of the future by the power of demons or by interpreting omens, which is forbidden by God. Verse 8. Their land is full of idols, the people worshiping things they have made with their own hands. So now they will be humbled, and all will be brought low. Do not forgive them. Crawl into caves in the rocks, hide in the dust from the terror of the Lord and the glory of his majesty. Human pride will be brought down, and human arrogance will be humbled. Only the Lord will be exalted on that day of judgment. Right? So the message here is like idol worship destroys the relationship with God. And this flourished in Israel and Judah. There were a few good kings in Judah that stopped it during their reigns. Today, we worship people or objects that symbolize power, right? We pay homage to cars, houses, sports stars, celebrities, money, but idol worship is sinful. It insults God to worship something made by humans, and it keeps us from knowing or serving God. It also causes us to rely on our own wisdom and efforts rather than God. Verse 12. For the Lord of heaven's armies has a day of reckoning. He will punish the proud and mighty and bring down everything that is exalted. He will cut down the tall cedars of Lebanon and all the mighty oaks of Bashan. He will level all the high mountains and all the lofty hills. So he's talking about the day of reckoning, the day of judgment. where God will judge good and evil. The proud will be humbled and God will be exalted. We will want to have a proper relationship with God when that time comes, right? And pride cripples us. God must be held in the highest esteem. Verse 15. He will break down every high tower and every fortified wall. He will destroy all the great trading ships and every magnificent vessel. Human pride will be humbled and human arrogance will be brought down. Only the Lord will be exalted on that day of judgment. Idols will completely disappear. So power, wealth, and pleasure, none of this can compare with or should rival the place of that God must have in our hearts and minds. So it's just place your confidence in God alone. Verse 19. When the Lord rises to shake the earth, his enemies will crawl into holes in the ground. They will hide in caves in the rocks from the terror of the Lord and the glory of his majesty. On that day of judgment, they will abandon the gold and silver idols they made for themselves to worship. They will leave their gods to the rodents and bats, while they crawl away into caverns and hide among the jagged rocks and the cliffs. They will try to escape the terror of the Lord and the glory of his majesty as he rises to shake the earth. Fear is the panic and peril that unbelievers feel at the judgment of God. The right kind of fear is revering and standing in awe of God, right? It's the two types of fear. Those who honor and respect God need not fear his wrath. Verse 22, don't put your trust in mere humans. They are as frail as breath. What good are they? So it ends with people are very limited when compared to God, right? They're unreliable, selfish, short-sighted, yet we trust our lives and futures more readily to humans than the all-knowing God. So beware of people who want you to trust them instead of God. Only God is completely reliable. He is perfect and you can rely on his mercy and enduring love. Right. So that ends chapter 2. Again, if anyone wanted a Bible to read along, this is the New Living Translation. And all these notes are coming from multiple study guides, Life Application Study Guide, and Every Man's Bible, along with a few others. I might throw in something from my Patriots Bible, my American Patriots Bible as well, which is kind of cool. Just have a few facts like that. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you next time.